Welcome to this episode of Direct Selling Success Network Marketing Done Right. Today I have an amazing guest, Kim Uzzell. So Kim is a chartered wealth manager. She helps people with their money brain, and she's a founder of Your Money Brain and the Wealth Hive, a space where financial futures are worked on from every angle, she says. Mindset, strategy, nervous system, and action. I am reading this, by the way. That's why it doesn't sound like I would normally sound. I'm not great at the reading of bios, but this one, for Kim, she is such a clever, amazing lady that I wanted to be able to use her bio and explain what she does in real terms rather than my waffle. So she's got over 30 years of financial services and lived experience rebuilding after divorce, burnout, and oodles of money shame. Kim now helps individuals move from financial fog to financial freedom without gimmicks, overwhelm, or guilt. Now, recently, she was featured in the Sunday Times Alternative Rich List. Now, I'd not heard of this before, but it's for people who are standing out regarding talking about money, which is a phenomenal achievement. She says she brings a powerful message to network marketers at every level, and you will hear this throughout the podcast as well. She says it's time to stop treating your income like a hustle and start thinking and behaving like the business owner you are. This is exactly what I say to you all the time, and it's so great to hear somebody in the financial services as a professional saying this too. We do not treat network marketing as a business the majority of the time. Time to change that by listening to this. So today I'm with Kim Uzzell, money coach. We're going to be discussing all things money story, what we're telling ourselves, what we're hearing, how we feel about making money in the network marketing industry. So welcome, Kim. Hi.
Hello, thank you very much. I love working with you, Anna. We could do this stuff every day for weeks on end. So I'm really looking forward to getting this conversation going and really, opening up the way we think, feel, and behave around our money so that we can go out and make more of it. And importantly, we can hold on to it, enjoy it,
Yes.
make it grow for us, so that we've got better financial futures ahead of us.
Yes, you've done quite a few trainings for us in the past regarding money, money mindset, finance stuff, all things money. And I think it's one thing in this industry that if we can get our heads round, we can do big things. And we don't. Why don't we?
We want to. I think that this is the biggest struggling, point that we have is that we know what we want. We come into these things to earn more money, to create an opportunity to bring, whether it's a small income stream or a really big, corporate style income stream. We come into it with money as one of the key elements, not the only element, but one of the key elements. And yet somehow along the way it gets distorted a little bit, and we find that we're pushing ourselves away from the money side of things, and we're then struggling to enjoy the very thing that we felt so passionate about in the first place, because the money stuff takes over.
Yeah, money stuff. What do you mean, money
Money
stuff?
stuff. Well, we feel a little bit embarrassed sometimes about talking, about money generally.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so, for example, we might find it difficult to ask our customers for payment. We might
Yeah,
find it difficult to tell somebody how much a product is. We might feel that if it's something that we can't afford ourselves, that we can't expect other people to afford it. So it might be
yeah,
that you have an incredible skincare range. And actually, one of the reasons that you went into that skincare business was so that you could get the discounts yourself. But you want your customers to pay full price for it. But because you can't afford it full price yourself, you're telling
yeah.
yourself subconsciously that they won't be able to afford it either. And that
Mm,
means that the words get stuck in your throat. So sometimes the money stuff can be asking for the sale, telling customers how much it costs and how brilliant it is.
yeah,
Or it could be something like the more I earn, the more people are going to expect from me. I'm going to be asked for more stuff by my children or my partner. I'm not going to be able to keep any of it myself. So what's the point? Or it could be that the more I earn, the more tax I've got to pay. Nobody likes paying taxes, or the more paperwork that I've got to fill in. Don't want to fill
Yeah,
in
that
any
was
more
me.
paperwork.
That was me. Oh, got to keep under that tax bracket because,
Keep it
oh,
small.
yeah,
But the
yeah,
reality is that the more we earn, then we can pay a bookkeeper to do our tax return for us. Outsource it. Outsource the stuff that we don't like so that we can then go out and earn even more and that then we keep it. It's just a hurdle you've got to get over.
yeah. Do
Um,
you know what? The one thing that stopped me from worrying about the tax thing was the fact that if I pay more tax, I'm earning more. So the more I earn, the more tax I pay. And yeah, that felt horrible. But then I thought about what my taxes are going towards. Things like, well, in this country, the UK, NHS. It's
yep,
going to help my local community. I'm helping other people who might be on benefits. And I'm giving back. And yeah,
yeah,
some of the things my tax is spent on I might not agree with, but that's life.
poverty. Yeah,
Yeah,
can't have it all. There are
yeah.
two things that I tend to work on here. One is if I were to offer you a £10 note, Anna, and say, "Would you like this £10 note?" And you go, "Yeah, of course, I'd like this £10
Absolutely.
note." I say, "You can only have this £10 note if you give me £2 coins now."
Yeah, fair enough. I still get eight.
So that's the same as paying your tax.
Yeah, exactly.
So you get to keep £8 and you're giving away two of it, but you didn't have any in the first place because
Yeah.
and so that's one thing that we really do need to get our heads around. We make profit, we pay a bit of tax, but we keep the majority of it. We are not in an economy or a political state, much as I know sometimes it feels like it, but we are not in a high taxation economy. We're not in the situation where if we earn £10, we only get to keep two of it, and we're giving £8 of it away. We're still keeping the majority of our money. And even when we are higher tax payers or we're paying corporation tax and other things, there are ways in which we can keep more of our money. So, the key here is to say, but I'm a business. I'm a business and I'm growing and I'm earning money. And that involves some costs. It might involve kit costs, it might involve stationery costs, it might involve, for me, it involves things like Zoom and Canva. They are business costs, and so is a bit of tax. But as long
Mm.
as after all of that, I'm making more money and I'm having fun in the process and I'm fulfilling my passion to get my message or my product or my service out there, I can deal with a Canva bill, a Zoom bill, and a tax bill.
So I suppose this brings up the other thing of the fact that the majority of network marketers, and I'm not tarring everybody with this same brush, don't treat it like a business. It's a hobby or a side hustle or a bit of pin money.
And um, these are all very valid things, reasons to be setting up your business or setting up that
Yeah.
income stream. Because not everybody wants to start a network marketing business or join a network marketing business as their main income. For some, yes, they do, or it becomes their main income. And we see lots of people doing great things with their network marketing business. But for a lot of people, it might be one of two, three, four, or even more income streams. And if we've got it as part of an overall strategy, I am having 7 different income streams because if one of them shuts down unexpectedly, or I lose the passion for one of them unexpectedly, that's okay because I've still got 4 or 5 others. But sometimes we keep these very small because we're not actually internally taking them as seriously as we might have thought. And we were doing a little exercise earlier on, looking at some of the definitions of these words, talking about our money stories. What are the things that we heard about network marketing or party planning or whatever it was back in the day? what are the things that we heard and that we've taken in as part of our money story? So I make no secret of the fact that I was absolutely traumatized when my mum used to do Pippa Dee. The pressure that she felt under to get her, customers and commissions in, that really traumatized me. And I still, have that carried, through my adult life. It's one of the reasons that I love doing the educational piece around network marketing, to banish these myths, but I've never done it myself because I know that I carry that trauma, that pressure that I took on from my mum and her Pippa Dee days and her Tupperware days.
How old were you then?
Oh, I must have been about 6.
Yeah.
But it
And
was
they
the it
say that's the key time
yeah,
for
and we
things to affect you.
these things in. So if you sort of think back to your childhood and what did your mum do? Was she an Avon lady, or did she fear the Avon lady, or was she in better wear, or was she, whatever, all of the things that we've probably experienced one way or another. I also remember, my mum fearing the better wear catalogue because she didn't want to make an excuse why she hadn't bought anything. So, she didn't have the money and she didn't need anything. So it was a case of leave the catalogue out on the doorstep and hide when the lady was coming around to collect them because she didn't want to make conversation because she was embarrassed. She was ashamed about the fact that she couldn't afford to buy a thing. So there's quite a lot of pressure around our history, our money story that we may still be carrying with us. That may be saying, oh, my clients, maybe they can't afford it, or maybe I can't ask for the money, or I don't want to appear too pushy. And one of the definitions of a hustle is to be pushy. It's to actually be quite forceful. Or when you look at the definition of hustle, it involves words like illicit, fraud. And it's like they're the very things that a lot of people think network marketing is. And you're
Mm.
desperately trying to push against that. You're desperately trying to say, no, it's not a scam, a fraud, a pyramid scheme. But when the very word hustle that you're using, it's my side hustle, is being thrown at you with with good intention, it's my side hustle. But part of your history might be saying, yeah, that's pushy, that's a bit scammy, that's this. And my mum was afraid of this and she used to hide because she felt, put upon.
Yeah. And the bloke down the pub, that says it's a pyramid scheme and network marketing, it's all bad and you can never make any money from it. That's what a lot of people are hearing. And
Yep,
that's what a lot of maybe their customers or people on social media are saying, oh, it's all a scam.
yep.
If you hear that enough,
And you've heard it in other formats as a child, or
yeah,
you've
all the news.
experienced, yeah, you've
Yeah.
experienced your parents, giving something a go and it didn't work, or they felt under pressure to buy things from other people. It all layers up, and so those things from your past, coupled with social media stuff from today, and the
Mm.
the news, and of course, 20 years ago we didn't have the internet. So we didn't get the gossip, we didn't get the spite, we didn't get the same sort of depth of anger that some people have towards anything. It doesn't matter what it is. The anger on social media is 10 times what it would be if you were having a conversation with somebody in the pub
Yeah,
because people hide
totally.
behind their keyboards. They feel bigger and stronger and they don't use their own names, or they can jump on your thread and all of your good work can be minimized in one person's comment. And we've got to change this narrative. There is nothing, yes, there will be in any business, whether it's a sole trader, a network marketing, a builder, it could be anything. There will be the rotten eggs. There will be the models that have less integrity than we would like. But if you are doing everything with integrity for the right reasons, to serve, to have an impact, to meet people, to make money, to enjoy that money, to build a small team, a big team, a phenomenal team, whatever you go in for, if you're doing all of that with integrity and your head held high, why should you not be able to say you're wrong or that's your own opinion? It's an outdated definition. And actually, I'm not doing any sort of hustle. I'm building an income stream or I'm building a business, and that other person who is putting you down is trying to say it won't work because how many income streams have they got? They may be solely reliant on their salary. What happens if they lose their job? They may have the best coaching client in the world who's paying them £100,000 a year. But what happens if that coaching client falls ill, can't pay, gets divorced? They're stuck. So who's the clever one? Who's the savvy one? Who's got the real entrepreneurial and business mind? And is that not something to be proud of and to want to share amongst other people and to encourage other people to have that security, that safety? There's nothing illicit or horrific or pushy about that.
I think sometimes the people who say these things, sometimes without even thinking, are, are triggered by something. Are they're something that's going on in their own heads?
And again, I know because I remember those Pippa Dee parties and those Tupperware parties really well. I know that that is something that has triggered me in the past. As soon as somebody has introduced me to an opportunity, my barriers have gone straight up because I've gone straight back to 1976. And it doesn't matter what the logic is in between. I've just been transported, and it's like, no, not for me. I'm okay, thanks very much.
I know a lot of
Um,
people have this same issue with people coming, so and so down the pub has said this thing, or one of my customers has said this thing, and it's sometimes it's coming from a place of love, but sometimes it's coming from a place of, well, I've heard this, and I believe that to be true, rather than any factual evidence. There's, and it's so frustrating when you're trying to change an industry when people are still stuck with these beliefs because of a few people or the media or TV programs portraying it as horrific and scams and yeah, it's difficult.
and there are thousands of network marketing companies out there. So it stands to reason that some of those will be less than brilliant.
Yeah.
But I could walk down the street and see 20 shops in the row of shops on the high street, and some of those are going to be great employers, and some of those are going to be little more than sweatshops,
Yeah.
but they're hiding behind a brand name or they're hiding behind a shop window that looks incredible. But the reality is behind them, you've got unhappy staff members who are close to burnout, who are doing unpaid work, who are expected to do all the grotty jobs and they're being bullied. And there will always be in any business environment
Yeah.
the bad eggs. So maybe those people have been the victim of one of those bad eggs before, in which case, yeah, we get it. You're hurt, and there's good reason for that. But the majority of people haven't been caught up in it. They're just taking secondhand information, distorting it, and then repeating it. And it becomes like Chinese whispers.
Mm. Yeah, it does.
And that's the challenge that your industry has. Because you know whether it's skincare, whether it's utilities, whether it's household products of some sort, they're they're things that you can buy or that you need through any corporate. You can go to Tesco's or Boots and buy your skincare. You can go to B&M and buy your household products. You can go to Eastern Electricity, not that Eastern Electricity exists anymore. That's showing my age, isn't it? But you can go to any one of the, the main electricity suppliers for your gas and electric, or you can go to a Tropic ambassador, or you can go to a utilities warehouse representative, or you can go, you can take your choice, but ultimately it's all a business model.
Yeah.
If it's a business model that works for you and you love the products and you love everything that it stands for and you love the other elements of it, getting out there, meeting people, having an impact, changing the world with your eco products or whatever it is that you're doing, then why should you give a stuff about what somebody on social media who you've never met, who's never been in the industry themselves, even thinks? They're not your person.
No. And it's like we're discussing on
Paying the
here,
bills.
it's holding you back from being that success that you want to be, from making that money. One thing that I used to say to anybody who went, "Oh, why are you involved in that pyramid scheme?" I'd just say, "Do you really think I'd be involved in something that's illegal? Do you not know me well enough to believe that I would get into something that's dodgy. I do not get into anything dodgy. It would frighten the life out of me if I accidentally had something left in my trolley after the shop. I'd be right back in there. I've missed this on my shopping. I'm so sorry. Because I'm not that sort of person. So why would somebody think that? And if it's somebody I don't know, I just let them think it, because they can think whatever they like. It doesn't affect me. They're not my ideal client. I'm never going to work with them. It doesn't
No,
matter.
no.
But it takes a lot to get to that point, I think.
Yeah, and if you are, if you just look, remind them or remind yourself, if you're stuck with that barrier yourself, remind yourself what is a pyramid scheme. Go and research some of the pyramid schemes that have brought people down. They generally involve, I know it's not exclusively, but they generally involve money, 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 and money. There is no exchange for that money. There's nothing in return. There's no product. There's no service. There's nothing tangible. It's the promise of give me your money and I'm going to make you, millions. So people like Bernie Madoff, the biggest Ponzi scheme, ever. It was give me your money and I will make you rich, and I'll show you a statement that makes it look as though you've got a return on your investment, but there's nothing there. I've just taken your money. That's not the same for people who are selling electricity or phone contracts. Because if you get your electricity or your phone contract, or if you get your skincare or your, eco washing up liquid, you've got the thing that you've bought.
Yeah. It's nothing even slightly the same.
It- It's not. And
No.
this is where the education piece needs to go in. And I know that there are lots of, when you get a new business coming through, and we saw it last year all of a sudden there was great big focus on new business, and of course it brought out the naysayers about this is just another pyramid scheme. And it frightened some people off from being in it. And that's a real shame, because actually, nobody at that time had really looked into it properly to make a proper judgment. What is it? Is it a pyramid scheme? In which case, yes, let's call it out. Or is it a relatively new business that is growing rapidly and people are getting excited about it? And, actually, 12
And it
months
was very
later,
much the latter.
12
Very
months
much the latter.
later, you don't see anybody talking about it as a pyramid scheme.
No.
You just see
Because
people
people
spending
just
the
jump on the
money.
bandwagon, don't they? They jump on that bandwagon. And then the way that I try and explain it to my clients is, if people are saying that, let them say it. Because whatever you're going to say to them to try and change their mind that this isn't a pyramid scheme isn't going to work, because they don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
They just want to call out whatever they want to call out. You've just got to let them be and go and find another place where you can shout about what you do and be
There's
passionate about what you do.
billions of people on this
Yeah,
planet. You don't need to take notice of a very small number of people who don't know you, haven't got your best interests at heart, and actually, something that they may be doing may be with less integrity than you are.
Yes, exactly. So let's
They
get back
may.
to this money story then.
Oh,
Let's
funny
get
stuff.
back to um, thinking about, this is a business opportunity.
Yeah,
And I don't think enough people in this industry treat it like a business.
yeah.
And I think that massively holds them back from being successful.
Mhm.
How do we start to change the way the majority of our network marketers in this audience start to think about the fact that this is a business?
So first of all, I think again, if we look back, we're, our parents and generally our mothers and our grandmothers, because it's often network marketing has been, a thing that women have done rather than men. I would
Yeah,
guess in
yeah,
general. Um, so in the past, that would have been a bit of pocket money, a bit of pin money. Women 30, 40, 50, 60 years ago were not expected to have businesses or to have careers that brought in a full-time wage.
no,
So they had allowances. They were given the family allowance. We didn't even call it child benefit back then. It was family allowance. They were given the housekeeping. And then there was a bit of extra pocket money or pin money. So again, the history of it says these little bits of money that you get from your little hobby, it's just a bit of pocket money because you don't set up a business, you don't have a business, you don't go out to work. And those same women would have said things like, no, I'm just a housewife.
yeah.
Sorry, but nobody's ever just a housewife. It's one of the hardest things in the world. And if you add, I'm just a mother to that as well,
I just look after the kids.
I just look after the kids.
Oh,
No, I don't work. Excuse me. But they are the stories that surround this type of income.
yeah.
I'm just a this. I'm only a that. No, I don't work. But I have my little bit of pin money for. So we've got that again carrying, from the past. We've also got this, you know, this disbelief in ourselves. You know, if I treat this as a business, what does that, is that me? Am I a business owner? I never set out to be a business owner.
This is massive, isn't it?
I'm not an entrepreneur. And so many people don't feel like a business owner. But if you, it's like, what is a beach body? Have I got a bikini body? Yes, you've got a bikini and you've got a body. Put it on. There you go. You've got a bikini body. If you've got this income stream and you can grow it, it's a business.
Yeah.
If you've got a passion for talking to people and building a team, it's a business. And actually, isn't that a brilliant thing that, your mother or your grandmother or your great aunt Susan didn't have the power to have, that mindset of it being a business by and large.
Mhm.
So she was made to be grateful for it and, to keep it small. But how fantastic is it that you can take what they've done and what they set the standard for, if you like, the foundations for, and you can build on that and you can grow something phenomenal out of it. Imagine your mum or your grandmama saying, oh, I'm so proud of you for building this business, for getting so much out of it and enjoying it along the way and getting all of those incentives and all of these promotions and helping all of those other just a mum, just a housewife. No, you're helping people. You're helping women. You are empowering other people by putting money in their pockets as well. If that's not entrepreneurial and businesslike, I don't know what is. So we have to reframe what it was before, a bit of pin money, a bit of an allowance, a bit of extra. It's now a key part of our income. It's an income stream. It's an opportunity. it's an impact for the wider community, for the planet, if that's your values. They are all part of your own personal vision and mission statements. That means you're a business. And with that comes a little bit of paperwork. Yes, of course it does, but we already know that that's just part of the smaller part of being a successful business owner, whether you're a window cleaner or whether you're a representative for a network marketing company.
Yeah, very true. And I
Proud.
think sometimes we hold ourselves small for so many different reasons. And the money, I think we don't like to talk about it in this country. We don't like to discuss it. We want it, but yet we don't because it feels wrong.
Mhm. And again, these are just all the things that we've carried with us. If you could put a barrier up and say, right, I don't know, say I'm going to, well, I talk about things as being, BC, before COVID, so there was life before COVID, and then lots of things changed after COVID. Things like remote working, working from home, doing meetings on Zoom, a lot of that was accelerated by the pandemic. We'd have got there eventually, but we had this quantum leap, if you like. So if we could, for example, put a line in and say, right, I'm going to remember all the great things before COVID, but all of the negative money stories that followed me up until 2020 or whatever, I'm going to let go of. They don't exist anymore. I get to start with a nice clean slate.
Should we do it
What
from today when we're listening to
from
this?
today?
Let's
Yeah.
do it before podcast.
Podcast. BP.
BP.
BPAP. But if we could draw that line and say, what what do I want from this? What do I get excited about? What can I achieve from this? We're not being influenced by anything or anything anybody else has said in the past. It's like we still have those people in our lives. We love them. We can remember all the great other things, but no money stuff, no money story. So it's like, what do you fancy then? Like going to a new restaurant. What do you fancy for dinner? Take anything off the menu.
Let's have the
Hmm.
seafood platter. Let's go all
Well,
out.
I've never had that before. I'm going to give it a try. I'm going to give it a try. If I like it, I'm going to have more of it. Oh, I like that. I think I'll have more. I'm going to come back for more. And it's like we can you know, put it out there. I'm going to do things my way from now on. I know I'm going to create my version of this business, this set of businesses, this basket of businesses. We can have several of them if we want, or we can go all in on this. This is my version, and this is why I'm doing it. And in that moment, we can be quite tunnel vision about it and say, I'm doing this because I'm doing this so I can, you know, not have to worry if an unexpected bill comes in, so I can get an extra couple of weekends away with my girlfriends. So I can always make sure that I can say yes to the children when they ask for a school trip. Or so I can build a ton of money for myself. It is there when I want to spend it on whatever the heck I like. Or so I can leave my unhappy relationship and go and be happy somewhere else. It's like all of these opportunities, they're not somebody else's life, they are not somebody else's story. They are our futures and the things that are important to us going forwards. And when we can really let that sink in, it helps layer the reasons or, propping up why we're doing this and what we want to build it for. So, don't be ashamed of your business. Be excited about the opportunities. And there will be undoubtedly work to do on your old money stories. But knowing that you're doing that work so you can release all of this amazing stuff in the future, then makes it easier instead of saying, yeah, well, just the way that it is. I'm just a stay-at-home mum. I don't really go to work. It's not really a business. You tell that to the people at the top.
Yeah, exactly.
You tell that to the people at head office. Is it really a business? Is Tropic really a business? Well, I think Lord Sugar and Susie Marr would say it is.
Well, the people who are making the money from doing exactly what you're doing, who started exactly where you are, will say different.
Yeah. And I think going back to one of your earlier comments, when people see the very same people that they've doubted, when they see them doing well, or they see that they may say a throwaway comment like, oh, well, it'll never last.
Yeah,
Either it will never last or you'll never last.
yeah. Or you just lucky.
Yeah. That then is another indicator. It's a them issue, not a you issue.
Yeah.
Now, you should be in network marketing for your reasons. That can include making money, enjoying money, having, meaningful income. It will also include all the other stuff as well. But money's a driver, and
Mm.
and you know it makes the world go round, and it means that we can do more in the future because if we get more money, we get to do more things. We get to employ more people. We get to, get our nails done or our hair done or buy a new pair of shoes and put money back into the pockets of other people. The more we bring in ourselves through our own income streams, the more we can do for society, for the economy, for the community, for the planet, and all of those things. So,
For
you know,
everybody else like us as well to prove that it can be done.
yeah,
Yeah.
and to just allow that little voice from your grandma to say, "I'm so damn proud of you." Or who'd have thought? When I was doing my Pippa Dee all those years ago, who'd have thought? And actually, last week I went to a pop-up clothes party.
Oh, get you.
A pop-up clothes party that somebody in my professional network locally had arranged, and somebody in our network has. So again, we're using this word network. It's
Yeah.
network. It's what we do all the time, whether we're realizing it or not. But she set up a boutique last about 8 months ago. 8 months ago, so relatively new. She decided, as a menopausal woman, she wanted to get clothes that were really fabulous for menopausal women that didn't break the bank. So she sourced all of these bits from all over the place. She's got boxes and boxes and boxes of them at home. Guess what she does? She puts them in a van with a whole load of rails. She goes to somebody's house. She pulls them out. They've got a couple of bottles of fizz on the go and some nibbles. They rummage through, they strip off, they try everything on, they pass it between each other, they compliment each other, they have a great time. She gets the sales. The person whose house it is gets a percentage.
Old fashioned party plan.
Just because she's an independent.
Yeah.
Is she a business?
Yeah.
Yes, of course she is. Is she doing exactly the same thing as my mum was doing with Pippa Dee
Yep.
50 years ago? Yes, of course she is. Did I thoroughly enjoy myself at the event last week? Yes, I did. So why can't we just take these things and say they are great ways of doing things? And if it works for you, do more of it. Get excited about it. Enjoy the money that comes with it. And don't ever be afraid of paying your taxes.
Gosh, no.
Don't ever. Or your accountant's fees or any of that. That's just a small part. As long as you're keeping the bigger part of your money, and if you don't like admin, if you are, my husband is dyslexic. He does not like anything that involves any forms. Find a way around it. There's plenty of support out there that can help you, whether it's, asking your partner to do it for you, asking somebody to check it for you before you send it off, or paying an accountant or a VA to do it a couple of hours a month for you. It doesn't need to be expensive. But if you're running a business, the the more efficient, the more you embrace that as a business, the more successful you're going to be. And
Yeah.
just, the more you'll enjoy it then. And that will come across in your sales because you're great at it. You're great at business. You've got all of these incredible products or services that you offer. Don't shy away from it.
No. Thank you so much, Kim. It's been a really insightful podcast, this one. Yeah, really interesting. And I think we've covered an awful lot.
We never stick to script.
No, well, we didn't
But
have a script to
I've
start with.
got my bullet points. Yeah, I'm gonna do this. Gonna talk about this.
Yeah,
No,
it's
but
all good.
just embrace it, enjoy it. Build that business. As what's the old saying about dancers like nobody's watching? Build your
No.
business like nobody's. None of the naysayers are in the background. Let them
Yeah,
do them.
yeah, absolutely.
They're only
So
jealous.
if people want to come and find you, where do they go? What can they find you on socials?
So you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Kim Uzzell Money Coach on Instagram. Come and find me, Kim Uzzell. My name's there on the front. On Facebook and join my group, which is the Financial Shift, where we are talking about how we can shift our mindset from one to the other. Or come and if you're on LinkedIn, and I know more and more network marketers are now because it's
Mm?
a place for business people. Come and find me on LinkedIn.
Yeah,
So
thank you.
I'm not on I am on TikTok, but I'm not really on TikTok. I'm not as good as you, Anna. You started at the same time as I did, but you flew with it and I hid
Can't be everywhere, can we? Can't be everywhere.
all at once. No.
No. Brilliant. Thank you so much, Kim.
You are very, very welcome.